let's see where we are at this morning here to get started. Jump to my channel. Hey guys, how you doing? We're going to do some artwork this morning. Looks like my loading screen is still up on YouTube, and that'll probably flip over when I'm not looking. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit my social media updates here so I can just kick out across the multiverse and let folks know I got stuff going on here. Maybe we've rolled over at this point and I'm live and talking to the... Nope, still not up and running. Okay, let's see, that's there. I'm just going to kick down my social media line here, and as soon as I can verify that we're live, I'll go with my intro spiel, and then we'll get to work here this morning. So hopefully there's not too much of a time delay. Hey, it sounds like we're coming into effect now. I can hear myself muttering in the background. That is fantastic news. So let's go ahead and clip that out of the way. We'll go here to check my volumes real quick. Mic check, mic check. 1, 2, 3. Here to check my volumes real quick. Mic check, mic check. I got a new chair in the background. You can see that? You're going to see that the head of that from now on. We'll drop this down. That sounds great. All right, here, and you can follow me on Twitter at, I'm on the X Twitter platform at Phil Kearney. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon to get notifications while I'm live in the future. Hey, new subscribers, thanks a lot, guys, for being around. Rel, good to see you, my guy. How you doing? Full playlist here for all the other 280 episodes. Let's see, my name is Phil Kearney. I create role-playing games, I illustrate them, I publish them online, and I've been running Dungeons & Dragons since 1987. I've been using Eberron as my homebrew campaign since 2006. I've been creating content on DMsGuild since 2017, and this is the first adventure that I am publishing. Crystals and Mabars for 4 to 5 characters, level 7 to 8. In the Eberron setting, you are running around the Carnwood and Carnath in the continent of Corvair, fighting undead and necromancers, making right in the world. So we made this cover back around episode 40, so you can jump into the Wayback Machine and check that out if you want. Right now we are creating pathways through the mists and mud. Excuse my froggy throat clearage. So just to demonstrate, let's go fetch the gazebo real quick. Gazebo Ruins. This is the map that we worked on last week, and it is finished now. So you can see some common language here. We've got these puddles. We've got this basically an overhead view of an old worn down gazebo. Here is the flagstone or cobblestone color. Here is the top of an obstacle, pillars that would have had a roof in the past, but the roof is gone. Line art for obviously lines, the ground down area around here is barren soil. Here is the coffee ground substance, the necromantic effects of the plane of Mabar that's terminating in this manifest zone, causes the soil to die, and it becomes like coffee grounds, and then new types of plants grow out of it that are native to the plane of Mabar. So basically the manifest zone that's being created by the necromancers is terraforming the forest into a Mabarite or a Mabaran environment that they can harvest all this material from to create magic items or spell components or whatever. So we're using the same language from these. This is a little vignette of a forgotten location. It's got, some busted down walls. This would have been covered over in forest at one point. The forest is all rotted away because of the necrosis of the manifest zone. But we're using the same language and texture, like color and texture language, for these different. I'm going to press a button here. I'm going to do this. Go here. We go color. There. Like here's the line art that we've been doing. This is a 15-foot wide pathway that leads through the grit. There's this fog effect that limits visibility. The fog blocks the sun, and rots the forest at the same time. You don't want to breathe this stuff forever. You're going to want to have like a face mask to like a breathalyzer or whatever to protect your face. We're going to take this and this. Going to here. There, that's good. Press save. So these lead from one location. There's 3 primary locations in the manifest zone on the surface level. There's like the gazebo, random stuff you can run across that the DM can drop down as needed. But there are 3 primary points. The adventure doesn't assume you're going to all 3 of them, but you could. And so there's these cobblestone pathways that lead from one location to another. Back when this place was in good upkeep, these would have been, you know, well swept, cleaned, pruned pathways that act as just a means of getting from one location to another while there's forest and different environment around to make it, you know, a lovely park-like environment to hang out in. But that's all rotted away now over hundreds of years. So when we build this is the base map that we had underneath the gazebo as well. But you can see here that we can just simply replace it. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Oops, we're off just a snit. There, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so you can line up these pathways, go there, and then to there, and then to there, and then to there. You wouldn't necessarily stack it like this, but since the mist is limiting vision to 40 feet, which is 8 squares, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's only half of this length. So you can just tile these things one after the other as the team. If the team decides to follow the path, there's only 4 of them, so you can lead them down. And on a D4, you can roll like there's about a football's field length distance between one location and another inside in this triangular formation. And so, if you want an encounter between any of the locations while the team is traversing them, you can just roll a D4. And whichever D4 you roll is whichever segment, or a D8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, whichever segment it is that they're on. When whatever happens, you can just highlight that one and put it in the middle of the map here, and then have stuff north-south flanking. I'll break it down a little bit more, but it's very simple. You just lay these down as basically decals in the empty environment, because normally this is all they're going to be able to see. They'll be able to see a new location at the end of the road, one direction or another, but until then, it's basically just nothingness in between. So, pretty straightforward. Anyway, so we are going to finish up coloration and gritting of the map. Let's take that back down to there. Verify 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. What is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. So 5 by 16 blocks. I want to go back down to the color here. That's right. We were doing some low resolution water stuff here. I think that's all resolved. All the line art is good. Let's put some grit on it. So I'm gonna grab there. Let's grab this like that. That's the water. More water. Base color. Time for grit. So let's go into here. Grab here. Here. 30 is the minimum size. We can go up to 70 if we need to, but we really don't. So I'm just gonna saturate this area with some of this gritty soil stuff that we've been using. And it's mostly because this grit basically, but it just sweeps over everything. So and as it gets like it can be used as a material component for necromancy and darkness rituals. So it's really valuable. And instead of like spending gold or other crazy, like this would be considered an exotic material that could replace gold whenever you're creating these rituals. Super useful. You're basically just scraping it off of the ground and putting it someplace else, or you could just like you could, I guess, just scrape a magic circle out of good field of grit and just perform the ritual just like that, as though it were like it were like defiling magic, just wrecking the land around it. That's essentially what you could do there. I didn't think of that before, but that's pretty neat. You realistically do that. Just carve it into the ground and make it happen without having to set up any expense. Like the ground itself is the expensive material component. You're just carving the component out of it. Hell, I'd allow that. I don't have to be thorough with this because we're going to erase almost all of it anyway. We're just trying to fill in the path with grit to demonstrate that we're going to clean up most of it, because this is an easy place for workers to go out and gather the crystals. They're just on the pathways, on the patrolled routes between locations that are safe, relatively safe from undead. So having most of the crystals scraped off of here and allow them time to fill back in again, that's a really safe, sensible place for people to be farming this stuff. So that's how we're going to do. That is good. So I'll finish up this chunk, and then if you haven't seen it before, I'll show it to whoever how we grit up the soil a little bit. But this is really meditative for me. I enjoy this quiet time. It's a nice way to start my day. I'll be on tonight to do more Spelljammer cartography for the Vokath Battle Crab fleet encounter. We're going to I think build out another battle map at a smaller scale. Let's see. Tomorrow and Wednesday, I will not have a lunch session because work and other priorities are going to prevent me from being online. I'll be on in the morning like usual, and I'll be back Thursday night for more Spelljammer like usual, and we'll be doing this on Tuesday and Tuesday. Well, for the rest of the week, Monday through Fridays, this is what I do in the mornings before my day job. And words. My computer box needs more words. What am I trying to say? Yeah. It's just I won't be around. And normally I'm around Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday during lunch times, Mondays and Thursdays in the evening, and then Monday through Friday in the morning, and then a Saturday. So this week I will not be around for Tuesday. Won't be around for Wednesday. I'll be back on schedule for Thursday night and Friday. Friday lunch. We should begin working on the next tile, the next location in the Rubble Belt Hex Crawl playtest that we're doing for the Martial Power System. We finished up taking care of monks on Saturday this week, and so we're at a place where we can start getting ready to playtest again. So I'm going to spend a week or so here online building out the new location. Hopefully we'll be able to recruit some people to play with us. Level 5 and 6 for a 5 or 6 week stretch on Monday nights. So later this month through August, my Monday nights are going to get shut down because I'll be playtesting. I'll be running games. So if you want to check out the Martial Power System, and if you're interested in participating in the playtest, you can join my Patreon to get It's $1 to have first rights access to any seats that are open. Otherwise, you can jump into my Discord, which is another source of recruiting people to participate in my playtest games. And if for some reason I can't find 5 people to participate through that means, I'll start outsourcing, I guess, to other Discord channels and Facebook groups and stuff, just looking for some people that are willing to sling some mana with me. It's nice to find people that know what's going on already and are excited about the system, so I don't have to spend a ton of time explaining how it works first, because people will grok it because they already know it. But it is what it is, and we'll adapt as necessary. What's up? Hey, Humbly Bumbly. Humbly Bambly. Neat. What is your day job? I am surprised this is not what you do full time. You'd be surprised how difficult it is to do stuff like this full time. I'm hoping that I will accumulate enough, and thanks for caring. Hey. I hope that I'm able to accumulate enough audience that I can. I'm not necessarily looking for YouTube to monetize my stuff, but I do like to have YouTube as a place to show the stuff that I do, so that when I build something here on YouTube, if it's people see what's going on. If it's of interest, they'll buy it. Ultimately, I'd like to get into Kickstarters that way, so I can run 4 Kickstarters a year to put out 4 different things, 1 per quarter. But otherwise, I do marketing analytics. So I live in Seattle. I won't bore you with the details of who I work for because, personal zone. But yeah, I do marketing analytics, breaking down the viability of different leads that we've been working with, what kind of stuff worked with them, kind of revenue was generated for the marketing company to assist in building stuff for them, blah, 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 blah. That's number crunchy stuff. It kind of makes sense that I do number crunchy stuff, considering that I like building, mechanical systems for role-playing games as a hobby. Math. Lots of math. There. See, we can see that there's grit on the path, but it's not overwhelming. Like the cobblestone is always showing through here. That's the level of. This is the level of the words I'm looking for. I'm tired. I am tired today. I did not get great last night, but so I'm trying to use words and they just do not come. But yeah, erasing this, like I'm using the same eraser as pen when I'm erasing this stuff, so it has a common pattern feel to it between what's added and subtracted. But the longer they go without scraping up the grit, it just packs in like that. So, I mean, given enough time, if the manifest zone remains active and the necrotic energies just continue to saturate the area, it would perpetually replace that stuff and just turn whatever topsoil is left eventually turns to grit, and then they scrape that off to go do necromancy rituals, and that seeps down, and then that grits. They can just keep doing this until they hit bedrock, basically. So, am in. Oh, cool. Am in healthcare. Hey, right on. Analytic brother, breaking the math down. What up? I just joined Discord. Hey, right on, man. Welcome to the mix. Yeah, we'll probably do martial power playtesting on Monday night. So instead of having, like, tonight I'm going to do Spelljammer stuff, but probably in 2 weeks from now. I've been threatening 2 weeks for a couple weeks now, but I just want to make sure we got all the bits for the new 2024 information before. I want to continue playtesting this stuff for 2024 before the 2024 book drops without having access to it. So we've basically been updating stuff. There we go. Looks nice. We've basically been updating stuff as they provide it for us, and all the information that we've gotten so far about the 2024 Player's Handbook is basically demonstrating that this stuff is going to jive. So yeah, we can just drop one of these down into. So this is just a general playmat that we have. You can just drop it anywhere as just a base texture ground, and then whatever else it is that we're doing, we layer this on top of it. So this will be a separate, like a decal that can be added. That can just be tiled with these larger tiles, and we can tile these on top of them. So you only need to have, like, if we imagine that 2, 3, and 4 didn't exist, we could just drop this into the middle of the map here, or like here, or even like this, and have it drag off the end, and then take the second one and put it on the end of here, and have it keep going, and just have it tile in 20 square blocks. So that's the idea. So we're just going to keep gritting the rest of them as we keep going here. Get this thing done. So as soon as we get this grit done, we'll be done with this map. So we'll be done with these cobblestone pathways today. When we come back tomorrow, we will continue our endeavor and make some more of the little situational, the optional maps. These are little optional map encounter areas that we're creating for a DM to pad out more opportunities for the characters to interact with the environment and the creatures, combat or social interactions as the DM deems appropriate and the players engage. But having options for combat, exploration, and social encounters separately helps the DM decide like what's like to judge the fatigue level of the players, the resources available to the characters, what kind of a if there's going to be another encounter, how aggressive is that encounter going to be, what options do they have to talk their way out of it versus throwing down another 3 or 4 round combat, what's needed for the tempo, and the DM can change the nature of the encounters that the characters face based on, again, the tempo of where the adventure is at. So by providing an abundant number of optional encounters that the characters can wade into, the DM has a lot of choices to stay on theme without having to improvise too much stuff. We do a lot of the legwork in the adventure with these optional encounters to basically show a frame of reference, like how can you build maps and what kind of stuff can you put in that map to harass the characters and make it interesting for them, and to help, like, random encounters. Like, people don't like random encounters because they're random and they can throw wrenches into whatever's going on in the game, but that's only if you actually do random encounters like in the moment. A really good pro DM tip is to have random encounters, but roll them before the game so they become planned. For the DM, they're random. For the players, they are the story. They're not random to the characters at all. This is just the shit that they have to deal with for the things that they decide to do. For the DM, it's random because you have another options that you can choose from. But you select those things before the game so that when the game starts, you already know all the potential things that the team is going to face in the environment that they're in. And if you know that there's like 3 different encounters and the players do something that will attract the attention of 2 of them together, then you can add diversity, complexity, and adapt the adventure to what the players are actually doing instead of just being reactionary. Like if you're in a dungeon and you have 2 rooms next to each other, and in one room you have a bunch of goblins, and then in the next room you have more goblins. And if the characters make a lot of noise fighting the goblins in the first room, it's logical that the goblins in the second room are going to check in to see what the hell's going on. Is there a problem going on here, or do we need to be concerned? But if you're just reading room by room and you don't know what's in the next room, you're not going to know that, oh, well, if you're not quiet, you're going to attract attention from more goblins that are nearby, because you don't know they're nearby yet because you aren't planning ahead. So random encounters that you create help sculpt the potential challenges that the team is going to face, and it inspires you to create story beats inside of the adventure to lean into the activities that the characters are performing based on the goals that they have for themselves. So this is just DMing 101 stuff. But I've been running games since '87, so I've got a lot of opinions about it. I've made probably every mistake you could possibly make in DMing, and God's willing, I think I've learned from them to become stronger. So I just don't. I just parse out I've been parsing out the information amongst random streams like this, which kind of forces people to sit through the stream just to listen to whatever it is that I'm babbling about. And sometimes the stuff I babble about might be useful, but I should really take some of these thoughts, organize them separately, and create, separate tear out videos like with production value and shit. But boy, that's a lot of work. Every hour I spend doing that stuff, I am not creating a map or building an adventure or creating a supplement. So it'd be cool to have a studio team to be able to build these things with me, but I'm not at that level of business yet. So we'll see where the future takes me. But for now, I just drop in texture. I'm just painting. We get down to the end of it. It's all just making color. Hey, let's see if I caught up on stuff. What's up? So when we start playtesting, glad to have you on board, man. Okay, so let's see. It's going to be a Monday. Let's shoot for the 28th. Let's shoot for the 28th to be our first 5th level session. That will give me. Let's see. I'll have Friday lunch. We can spend time on Saturday as well as Tuesday the 23rd. So we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, potentially 5 sessions that we can run building the environment that the team will be playtesting inside of. And so it's gonna have spoiler, like that prep time that we're gonna do here on screen is gonna have spoilers and stuff. But it's not an actual campaign. It's just a playtest dungeon that or environment that the character's going to be running through and throwing mana. You could argue that the players knowing what's in there lets them have characters a little bit more customized to what they want to do, so they can make better use of their mana, which is on theme with the system, because everything is, you can prep on short and long rests, you can recover mana on short and long rests. So once you get a feel for the land anyway, you're going to want to sculpt your characters to be able to adapt to it properly. So yeah, so I don't honestly care if playtester. I'm not trying to surprise you. I just want to give you reasons to throw mana around. So we're gonna build a 10-mile area ruin. We're gonna populate it with monsters and locations and traps and hazards and magical enchantments, and then we're gonna give the stuff that populates the 10-mile area. We're going to give them, goals and whatever it is that they have. And then once we have all that built up, there'll be a state of disrest in that location. And then the players will show up and start disrupting the whole scene. And that's what we call adventure. The character's goal is to secure that tile of land to make it a place that they can safely take long rests. And once they do that, they can move on to the next area. And if the team needs to take a long rest, they can retreat back to the prior 3rd and 4th level adventure location, which has been secured as a location the team can take long rests. So if the team needs more, and it'll be up to the team how they want to pace it. But you can punch through this territory, and it's like, yeah, we need to take a long rest to regather resources. You can retreat back outside of the 10-mile tile area, so you can mess around inside the tile and then extract yourself from it at the end of the day, get a long rest, drop back into that area, and continue tackling the problem. Let's start over here this time. So we're going to take our eraser, and same thing, just grit, 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 grit. Grit, 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 grit. My 5th level is where a lot of stuff starts unlocking. Like, your characters are pretty damn resourceful, strong, and have a lot of options available. So I'm thinking 5th and 6th level is going to be a lot of fun for us to really be able to sling mana around and cause trouble. Hey, what's up? Should we be strategic with mana usage, or just throw it like it's hot garbage? Should I make a character in time? We're gonna do a session 0 to build out characters. That'll be on the 28th. It'll be session 0 to decide like what the team is, because you can swap characters every session if you want, but just everyone having a chance to groove together and get an idea of the environment, and you just pontificate for a while for you guys to get the information that you need. And so the 28th will be the session 0, and then I guess August 4th will be the official start, and we'll go through August. So 4, 11, 18, 25, and then probably September 1st will probably be like level 5, depending on the progress, level 5, level 6, level 6, and then we'll probably take a 2-week break to catch up, and then verify is Monday 5, 12, 17, 26 is what I meant to say. Monday night. And then we'll on the 2nd, Well, if we need the second to just to finish up the tile, we will, for the sake of the adventure. But otherwise, we'll move on. We'll plan to see, like, if we keep it on, because it could be either, for me, it could be Saturday. It could be Saturday, Monday, or Thursdays, basically, for me. So right now, it was third and fourth level was Saturday. Fifth and sixth is going to be Monday. And then we'll see what 7th and 8th and 9th and 10th is going to be. Maybe Saturday again and then Monday again. Who knows? But I'm participating in a Beckme game every other Thursday for the foreseeable future. So I'm not sure if so Thursday isn't really a viable day for me to play test anymore. So it's going to have to be Mondays and Saturdays. So. That means we'll probably be done with playtesting through level 10 by the end of probably into September, maybe October. We'll have it finished. The actual book will be out by then, so that'll be nice to make sure everything's in place the way it should be. And we'll adapt accordingly. But there's so much of what we've built in that book is pretty much on target with what's going on with everything that's been presented to us for the 2024 book, and there seems to be such minimal changes that are actually happening that we have a viable model that we can use to actually build out of with a decent level of confidence that it's going to remain valid when the actual book's published. So we are flying a little bit in the dark about like what the official rules are going to be, but so far everything that we've seen has been curving in very, very nicely. Oh, my eye. There. But I mean, if you have the idea of what kind of a character you want to make, that's... You're welcome to mess around and build something anyway. I mean, you have access to the document. Read only, of course, but you still have access to it, so you can build a character now if you wanted to. I'm gonna take a second here and have some coffee. 7 o'clock, we're doing great. This will be done today. For sure. No problem. We got an hour left. We can do this. Ba, ba, ba. Taking a moment here to just let things settle in. What's up? What is one thing you are dissatisfied with modern tabletop gaming culture? Yeah, we talked about this. I talked about what I like. I didn't talk so much about what I didn't like. Culture. I don't like losing the old ways, and that sounds like a very grognard sort of thing to say. The procedural process the procedural process, like the procedural progression of moving through a hex crawl environment, or I miss the gamification of the games, being self-aware that you're just playing a game, and that portraying a personality is not an elevated form of art. It's like I've talked about in the past. The original first role-playing game, D&D, was basically just a user interface for virtual escape rooms. That's essentially what dungeons were. They were escape rooms, and you had to ask questions about what's in the environment to understand what was available for you to manipulate and interact with to find your way through the puzzles safely and gain rewards for it. Combat was not a priority. It was get the loot, and whatever you need to do to get the loot, you're welcome to do so. Like, it's not unusual for old school first edition D&D or like advanced Dungeons and Dragons dungeon crawls to be basically diplomacy missions through the dungeon, trying to do what you can to minimize the amount of combat, because combat's really freaking dangerous, and there are very little takebacks in the original D&D games for yourself or for the monsters. So like there was a reason why there was a morale score for monsters. Like, that's the point where they're willing to negotiate and try to find a non-hostile solution. Like, once they hit that threshold of taking damage or losing allies, there's a switch that gets flipped with a die roll that they suddenly are like, yeah, this combat isn't working out. What can we do different? You know? And I think a lot of the procedural process of going. I mean, there's a lot more genre of games now than just dungeon crawling, fantasy, D&D stuff, which is great. I've enjoyed many different genres and types of role playing games in my years, but none of them had the thorough procedural, like, this is why you do this, this is why you do that. This is how these pieces fit together. Like nothing has had such a comprehensive design that was just built into how you play the game, like how you conduct yourself. So with those tools being slowly eradicated from like just Dungeons and Dragons itself, it's everyone's just kind of like has their own opinion, man, about how things are supposed to go, and it creates a lot of disharmony, which is fine, because people should be free to play games the way that they want to play them. But the original D&D had a very structured, like, this is how you play the game minute by minute to make sure that the world runs smoothly. And once you understood how that system worked, you could decide how you want to adapt to it. But the culture, to get back to your point, what do I not like about what's changed is that the culture doesn't use these assumptions about process as a common baseline of operation. Like, I can't just drop into your game and understand your culture. Like, every table has their own homebrew rules and solutions to problems that are unique based on the experiences that they've had, and the fact that there's very little guidance on how you're supposed to deal with things. The advice that's on YouTube is from people that may or may not even know the old ways and how they've changed and why they've changed over time, and what's being lost and what's being gained, what's legitimately improved the experience versus what is detracted from player agency. Like Flute's Loot just put out a really great video about player agency being the top resource that are available to characters, is having options to create spontaneous solutions to crazy problems that they create. And without having a really strong means of processing a day of D&D in the fantasy world from a dungeon master's perspective, there can be a lot of subtleties here that are being missed, and it just leaves you with combat, conversation, rinse, repeat ad nauseum until you want to start a new campaign because you're bored. You know, like by having processes in place, you create a common dialect between each table, an assumed, like, you know how football is going to play. The specific actions in any given football game is what makes it exciting to play football, because it's different, and you know, it's a challenge and you're competing and stuff like that. But you know what the fucking rules of football are when you start. It's why you're playing. D&D doesn't really have that anymore. It has character creation rules, but it doesn't really have any rules about how to actually play the game. And that is a cultural thing. As much as it's a mechanical game rules issue, it's actually a cultural issue. Because if no one knows, if no one agrees on how something is supposed to be played, you can't. There's a lot of lost time in just figuring it out. Like, how are we going to play that game? Which can be celebrated, like in the example of diversity in session 0, and allowing the conversation of the session 0 shape what kind of a campaign you're going to run. But again, that's operating under the assumption that all of the people that are participating in that conversation kind of get how it goes, and we don't have that commonality anymore. Anyway, maybe that answers your question. And I would say from a personal, like from a personalities perspective, I would say tribalism is destructive. There's no need for tribalism in enjoying D&D, like or role playing games in general. Like for example, back in the '80s, you could say, "Hey, I like playing D&D." Another person could say, "I like playing GURPS," and another person could say, "I like playing Palladium role-playing games," and no one's going to call the other person stupid. It's either going to be, "Hey, I haven't played that game yet. How does it go?" Or okay, well, I don't like Palladium, so I wouldn't plan on playing that game. But I definitely respect where you're coming from. It's like a lot more. I think there was a lot more. I wouldn't call it tribalism. What would you call it? The camaraderie amongst role-playing enthusiasts back before 2000. And before role-playing games became like in vogue, because it was like role-playing games was a reason to get bullied. Like, you're gonna play role-playing games even though you're going to get bullied for it. And so there was a lot of interest amongst gamers to find ways to connect, because you could travel in herds and protect yourself as a group better from the real world society that's trying to tell you that what you're doing is evil, for instance. And to be able to find people to connect with. It's since role-playing games became more mainstream and more acceptable and common, that brings people out to think that there's a right role-playing. It gets tribal, because there's no need for protection anymore when it becomes mainstream. You don't have to you don't have to watch out for each other anymore, because what you're doing is okay now. And that results in people saying, well, it's okay to playing these games is socially acceptable now, but how you play this game is now socially unacceptable. Because now that there's no need to protect the herd from outside predators, the herd itself is going to eat itself alive. And that is what we've been seeing on the internet. Just happens to exacerbate it, sorry. Because the internet allows you to anonymously troll anybody for any reason, and so you having a strong opinion about what you love ends up resulting in having a strong distaste for anyone that makes you feel threatened for loving what you love. So you're going to lash out and attack back, and gatekeep, and whataboutism at people, and be a role-playing game elitist, or why not just try something else sort of language pops up in role-playing communities, where that used to be insane to think that, because you know, there's a decent chance one of us is going to get jumped on our way to the car. You want to go to Denny's? Let's all go to the car together, so that it doesn't happen. Like, this is real high school shit where people were playing role-playing games. Adults that got into D&D, of course, didn't have to worry about that. But in school, you did a fucking lot. Interesting topic of conversation. Thanks for pulling that out of me. I just saved the video to watch it later. I need to watch this again because there is a lot to learn. Yeah, right on, man. Thanks. Glad you're finding it useful, man. I don't have to be very efficient with this erasing. Again, I want little clumps and stuff all throughout there. That's kind of the point of the exercise, is to make this gritty dirtiness, but it's also to allow to have contrast. One path from like this environment, like this pathway is going to stand out from this because the coloring and the difference in texture that we're using, they work together to create its own sort of effect. But it takes time to tap it all in. Banana. I guess it's kind of droning my voice when I'm really tired. I'm becoming aware of it. I don't like how that lazy drone sort of sits on me. I'm gonna have some more coffee. If I keep twisting the brush, it'll erase in different directions, so there's no consistent patterning that ever gets created. Because this is not the kind of thing that I need to tile into a pattern. There. That feels pretty good. It does feel pretty good. I'm going to erase some of this. Some of this some more. I want to make the areas, these large areas that don't have, like, there's little watermarks here, and then there's the little troughs that dig in. Where there isn't any of that, where there's consistent blank area, I want to erase more of the crystal, so that the cobblestone language comes through a little bit more, and leave the gritty clumps more towards the edges in the water. It's this is an interesting way to be consistent with the texture language that we're doing here. That feels pretty good. I'll erase this a little bit too. There. That feels really, really good. Feels really good. All right, cool. On to the last one. It's yeah, we got 25 minutes. It's plenty of time for us to grid up another little sections. But all the heavy map work is done already. All the like the village is done. The cemetery is done. The actual necromancy facility is done. The gatehouse is done. The flooded fort is done. After this, we've got the Tree of Woe optional map. We've got a forest. We want to have 2 just random forest terrains, and then build some forest tiling tools for folks to just be able to build perpetual forests. I like providing all these little assets and toolbox stuff as added value for DMs to be able to use these tools for themselves and other adventures and campaigns to be able to just to be able to build stuff with, you know. I'm kind of, my brain is struggling right now. I'm just kind of talking random stuff. I am tired. I got shit sleep. I got like maybe 4 hours of sleep. I woke up before my alarm. That's good, but I don't know why, because I should have needed a lot more sleep than I got. But God provides us with all the things that we need, so I'm going to assume that I've got the mental acuity necessary for me to conquer the day and to be able to have a meaningful stream tonight as well. We're at 40 pixels? 50 right now. There we go. I tend to sit in the 30 to 50 pixel range. Sometimes I push it up a little bit bigger just to fill in a gap. But if I make it too big, it starts to look weird. Let's fill this in like nice. Just like that. Any luck, my adventuring team. This is Mondays is the typical day that I run D&D for coworkers at lunchtime, and with any luck, they're going to defeat the space squids that they've been fighting in the Spelljammer Eberron campaign. Not squids; they're more like octopi. but or cuttlefish perhaps. But they're chasing space monsters away from their mining operations so that their miners don't get eaten. And with any luck, they'll finish off the threat today and secure the area. Be able to process the ore. They're processing platinum ore right now. A lot of resources. It's going to make them rich for a little while, and it should allow them to upgrade one of their industries, pull in some more research, and potentially upgrade their at 1, 2, 3. Yeah, when they complete this mission, they'll be upgrading their characters to second rank. So they start at 0 rank. They work their way through first rank now, and this is the 3rd adventure that they're completing since we started in March. So this will get them to there's 5 ranks total, and those ranks basically equal in 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons terms. Every time you like you gain a proficiency bonus, like you start with a +2 at first level. Then 5th level, 9th level, 13th level, 17th level, you gain another +1 so that you're at 17th level +6. So from +2 to +6, there's basically 5 tiers or ranks of character skill that you accumulate. So they are effectively becoming like level 9 characters. The way that the role-playing game that we're playtesting is set up is that the number of adventures +1 equals your rank, the rank that you gain. So, like, for a 0 level character to get first level, it takes 1 adventure. So, survive 1 adventure, your first rank. And then you have to survive 2 more adventures in your second rank. Then you have to survive 3 more missions in your third rank. And 4 more missions, your fourth rank. And then 5 more missions, you are 5th rank. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So 5 plus 4, it's 9, 12, 14, 15. So in 15 adventures that average anywhere from 2 to 5 sessions, the characters go from absolute 0 to epic hero. And then since it's a guild format campaign, once their characters get to 5th level, they can retire them. And it takes 4 points to build to hire a 4th ranked team, and it takes 5 resources, a resource point, right? So it takes 5 resources to recruit a 5th level team. But a 5th level team is already max level, so they can't grow at all. So you could buy a 5th ranked team to run adventures, and then you could cash them out and refund them to lose them and get 5 points left. But if you brew a character prior to 5th level, however many adventures that they succeed is the number of resource points you can gain from them when you cash them out and make them management in your guild to help steer the decisions that the players make, and that gets converted into bonus resources that your guild can gain. Like currently, the team is gaining somewhere around 10 to 20 resources every adventure, and so when you cash in, like if you took a 0 level character after 15 levels, it's now a 5th ranked character. You could cash in that character for 25 resource points. From 0 to 25, they accumulated 20. From 0 to 5, they accumulated 25 resource points. And once they get to that point, they could hire a 4th ranked team to retire that team, get to 25 points, hire a 4th ranked team for 4 points, and then have them start accumulating points. And once they get to 5th rank, that'll be 5 adventures, so they could cash out their 4th ranked team for a 5th rank upgrade, and they'd get 5 points, but then they would hire another 4th ranked team, so they're effectively only getting 1 point. So it's really better for them to go from, like, they could have a high level team for like really high level threats, and as they continue on, they'll have different threat levels of different encounters that they're facing, so they can decide what level of a team do they want to have go take it on. And knowing that the lower the level of the character is, the more they'll be able to cash in points from it after a while when they're going to adventure anyway. So they can control the level of threats that they're dealing with at any time by deciding what level of the team they're going to hire. and we'll calibrate the adventure accordingly. That's one way to do it. We haven't gotten there yet, but the other way to do it is just to have an encounter be whatever its difficulty is. Damn whether or not the team is capable of actually handling it or not, to make it more of like a living world sort of, sometimes you're just going to get hosed sort of game environment. Haven't figured that out yet. So far, it's been important for me to calibrate the difficulty of the adventures to the capabilities of the characters. But as the campaign goes on, I could loosen up on that. And it'd be useful to do so. I'll be playtesting this system as well. Probably, I'm going to guess, like in January, I'll start having some open playtesting for it. Hey! Looks like we just about finished this. I'm going to just erase some of this grit in here just to free up some of this a little bit more. Because I like how these bare spots are looking here. So I just want to get those to be a little more consistent. Like that. It's looking really good. Good. There. Nice. All right. So those are our cobblestone pathways. Let's see. That's our grit layer. I think. It's going to be base, water, grit. So let's start breaking this up. That's our grit and our water. We're going to add moss and florets once we finish this breakdown process. There. Water. And then the base. Here. This is assembly work now. Man, I'm hungry. My body just got crazy hungry. Break that out. Line, go here, here, here. Cut and paste. Let's go with hazard. Let's go with, no, oops. We're gonna call this flora. Let's go grab our flora maps. Hazard tokens. That's where we want to be. Here's our hazard tokens here. All we want on this one is florets and plague moss. So we're going to duplicate those layers and bring those into the cobblestone pathways. Close that up. Here's our grit over here. So we can take these and drop them into the flora area. And we got our florets. I think I want to merge that down. that group. Merge this group. There we go. All right, so we got our plague moss, we got our flora, florets, plague moss. Let's go with, let's see if we can make this work, or if it's just going to be too bulky on such a small path. Yeah, it's looking kind of bulky. The full florets is, plague moss is too much, but the partial. I don't want to oversaturate the area. That's okay. We could probably just put one there. Oh, let's see. Where's a nice little spot? No, I want to leave that one empty. Let's put this one here. That sits nicely. Okay, so there's a plague moss. It's a little dash that we toss in. So let's take the florets and then stack those in as well. Oops. Grab here. Copy paste. Free transform. Turn it like that. Let's put those here. Free transform. One, two. One, two, three. And then let's go down to here and hey, what's up? Here, and then let's add in. Turn these this way. Spin that over like that. Do I want another one here? Let's see if it fits. It doesn't quite fit. All right, we'll drop it down to good enough. Take this one and let's put this one over here. Free transform. Don't. There. Yeah, some little incidental stuff. Doesn't have to. It shouldn't be significant because this path is well traveled. They'll eventually just scrape this moss and these florets off. For the time being, that's where this stuff sits. This is going to be 4. This will be 3. This will be 2. 1. How are we doing over here? 1, 2, 3. Call this one 1. 2, 4. Hey, what's up? So, and is there anybody in the server who is into League of Legends? I know someone who makes fan-made character kits for that game, and I think they might enjoy the server. I don't know. I used to play League a lot. I certainly respect the game and Riot as their creators. I don't know specifically if there's any LoL fans. Just ask. You just have to ask. See if anyone jives with that stuff. Let's see. All right, so these things are at a point where we've got. Let's reassemble. We're gonna go with 1, 2, 3, 4. Got 4, and then we got the water hazard is 4, and then the grit is 4, and then the line is 4, and then the flora plague moss is 4 and 4. Oops, we left something behind. Oh, we got about Dre. Four, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. There. So I could pick this whole thing up now as its own little assembly and drop it onto the map like here. There. And there you go. We now have a path in the we have a path in the muck. And we could add in, we could just drop in more incidental stuff out there around, but that's not the objective of this one. So these are done. I should probably split these into their separate assembly folders. So let's go to here. And let's go with 1. One, 1, 1, 1, 1. It disappeared? Yep, cool. So this worked. Dunt, 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 dunt. Let's get rid of that. Delete that group. Let's see. The next thing we can do is burp, burp. We'll call this 2. And peel everything open. So 2. And then 2, and then 2, and then 2, and then 2, and then 2. This should all be assembled now. Perfect. Call this one 3. We're going to peel open all the layers again. we go. So Florets at 3. Plague Moss is done. Line Art at 3. Close that up. Get the Grit at 3. Close that up. The Water at 3. Close that up. The Base of 3. Close that up. And then all of this is 4. Perfect. Cool. All right. So each of these is effective now. So to demonstrate again, you take this. I'm gonna take this. We're basically just it's just more tile assembly. Just run them into each other. There. Just runs off the page. But this is the path that the team would follow. And you got all the grit on the side. They only have about a 40-foot area that they can see anyway because of the way that the mist works. So let's grab a circle here for you, buddy. I said circle. Leave out. Like, that's only the area they'd be able to normally see, like with normal visibility. Hey, how about that? And we hit 750, so that's a good place for us to stop. Put those back where they came from. So that is our, and you can just tile those paths anywhere you want. Just lay them down. Yeah, it's not looking bad. I don't think I have any video game designers. No. But ask around. I mean, there might be. I'm not sure. I don't really talk about video game design. I don't play video games. I'm just a ttrpg guy. But that's it for today. So we're done with this. When we come back tomorrow, we will work on... I'm going to go to File, Open. That's Martial Power stuff. Let's go to Crystals. And then Art. We are in Act 3 currently. Aren't we? Environmental tokens. That's where we're at. So we just finished the hazard. The cobblestone paths are done. The hazard tokens are done. The manifest zone ground mat, the 20 by 20 is done. The puddles are done. Let's see. Handout intro. Act 3. No, that's on the ground. Act 2 is where I want to be. Optional encounters. And the gazebo ruins are good. Sinkhole chamber is good. Wait for this thing to open. That's resolved. Let's see. The gazebo is done. Call that done. Let's see. Is done. Here we go. Tree of Woe. Seems to be where we're starting at. Do I have this any further along already? That is the dilapidated building that we were looking at potentially building a map out of as well. Nothing there, huh? I'll just get rid of that. I don't need that anymore. Put that up and done. Tree, ruined building, appears to be a piece of stonework. I'm just going to go ahead and toss that aside. Drop that down into done. So yeah, we still got. So we got the ruined building. We'll be able to resolve that. We've got the Tree of Woe. We'll take care. That's going to be probably our next. Yeah, we'll do the tree next. And once we finish the tree, we should be done with the manifest zone. I'll verify when we look at our options. And then open. Let's see. I feel like I'm missing something. Gazebo ruins, sinkhole map. Let's go. Let's pan out a bit. There is, I think I have a workbench. So let's see. And that was the workbench. Act 2. Intro. Nope. Oh wait, region 1? Trees. Oh, this feels like Act 2 area 1 to me. Let's shift this. Save? No. File. Open. I'm going to cut those. Just pan out the act. Act 1, Region 1. Two. Then Act 2. Act 2. Act 1, Region 2. Act 1, Region 2. Act 1, Region 2. I don't know why I was doing that. Let's go to cut, and then let's create a new folder. New folder, Act 1, Region 2. Drop all that stuff in there. Very good. I can't actually group in there, so stop pressing that button. Let's make a new folder. Act 1, Region 1. There. Now Act 1 is properly organized. Trash, etc. Art. Act 2. Optional encounters. Okay, we're back on task. Okay, guys. Okay, so that is actually it for now. I'm going to bounce. I'm going to be back tonight in probably like 11 or 12 hours, somewhere in there. I'd like to start at 7 p.m. It's almost 8 o'clock here in Seattle in the morning. I like to start at 7 p.m. Sometimes I don't actually get here until 8 o'clock in the evening, which is a little late. So I want to try to actually start at 7. We're going to finish up the Vocath Moon battle maps. We already started working on assembly for the fleet last session. We were organizing. Probably playtest that soon too. Oof, we're getting crowded on time. I can do that. I can probably do that next Thursday. We'll figure it out. All right. That's it for now, guys. Yeah. Hopefully I'll see everybody in 11 hours. Like, subscribe, blah, blah, blah. See you then.